I've known Sean for a while and know how passionate he is about vibe coding and kind of like the emergent um, AI coding platforms. I came in with the idea of learning the tools and the process a little bit more and like picking a project that scratched my own itch, but wasn't necessarily trying to build the next $1 billion product. So what I built was a macro tracker, so tracking a number of different factors and uh, tracking a number of different factors, macro factors, and kind of like distilling it into something that's a little bit more actionable. Which way the market's going? Does it align with my like thesis of where the world's going in the next 10 years? But there's a lot of disparate data sources, and being able to like pull that together and then layering in a paywall and hooking up Stripe and figuring all of this out using Sean's methodology from the course. I have, but so I've worked as an entrepreneur for many years, and now I'm a VC. But as an entrepreneur, just having this time lag of coming up with an idea, working with a tech team, coming back, changing the requirements, changing the specifications, iterating on it, that whole feedback cycle took a lot of time. So with this, the idea of like going from zero to working prototype relatively short period of time was what was interesting mostly to me about this course. The hardest part probably was the setup, and the thing is with all of this, it's all moving very quickly. So what was hard then now has been solved very much so by a new feature request or new feature that Claude has like shipped at this point. So a lot of like what we were doing with duct tape and tie wire, kind of like pulling these things together, has all been kind of stitched up a lot more nicely now. So that's kind of the crazy thing is like, you know, anything you were doing 3 months ago now is pretty, it's changed pretty drastically, but like the methodology, the way that Sean kind of takes you through getting your idea together and then building, iterating on it, is a good repeatable process that you can apply even as like the underlying tools evolve and change and improve. Yeah, I think, I mean, for me, I'm squarely focused on venture. So it's like, how can I find the best founders at the earliest valuations and streamline like the due diligence process or reach out to potential investors, LPs. So that's like the main focus. So we've built a bunch of different tools internally that make that process, all of those little pieces, a lot better. So a lot of it is more like building internally. But I think for me, the biggest change is like thinking about how a early stage pre-seed project is funded, how much money they actually need, being able to have a conversation with the CTO and how he's thinking about using like agentic workers in the way that they're building. That's been the big unlock for me. But I mean, it's just you're only constrained by your imagination. It's so much easier now, and you don't even have to type. You can just dictate into the computer and batch things and have them run. Um, so it's a pretty exciting time that like the canvas, all the clay is on the table. You know, you just can build whatever you want. Yeah, I think what I would tell somebody that's thinking about applying is do it first and foremost. I think a lot of this can be a little bit overwhelming. There is no shortage of how-to courses out there, or you know, Sean even has this like self-service, self-guided way of learning. Those are fine for some people. Some people work better like in this cohort model where you have a, you know, mastermind of other builders that are working through the same thing together. So it depends. I mean, what kind of learner you are, but if you have any interest in this, I mean that we're still early. It's pretty accurate. I mean, I'll have this conversation with pretty senior people all the time, and they say like, "Oh, I need to start doing this AI stuff." And I mean, they're just barely like, they wouldn't even pass a prompting 101 course. So being able to like use agentic workers and Claude Code or these sorts of things gives you superpowers. So whatever you're doing, if you're an entrepreneur or just tinkerer, it gives you a lot of tools at your disposal. Yeah. So again, I mean, I took this in January. It having the cohort and the group kind of working through it together is super helpful. You're kind of like being able to live work together, talk through things that were confusing that you struggled with. But a lot of the things that we struggled with or that weren't quite worked out have now been pushed into production by Anthropic or uh, OpenAI at this point. So found it super helpful to the cohort-based model, the check-ins, the syllabus, kind of walking you through the workflow personally.